Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I imagine you didn't come just to see me, but I appreciate it anyway. I have some good friends from across the state of Ohio, and the governor and his wife Fran are here this morning. But I think it's another opportunity to see why it's so important for us to continue this journey. And I say it's a journey because if you look 12 months ago, we all were in a different space and a different place in our life. And now 12 months later, we're in the space of vaccinations. We're in the space of making sure that we can see our grandchildren, we can see our family and friends. And as the weather breaks this year, we figure maybe we can get outdoors and have a family gathering. But for me, just Tuesday, I took my second vaccination shot, and it's because of my granddaughter, Ariana. And I want to be able to be that papa chasing her around and going to her recitals or to her events and her activities. So those are some of the things that we really want to make sure that we're able to continue to do. And we're so appreciative of the governor, but we're so appreciative of the team that we've collected across the city, across the county, to fight this virus. This virus has no friend. It will take on any of us. Just tomorrow, I will be attending the funeral of a very good friend of mine, very good friend. And I say this because she was very anti-vaccination. She was not, it's hard for me to figure out why she didn't want to be vaccinated. And she died from COVID. So when I tell you this is real, this hits the heart of not just one of us, but all of us. And I'm not sure, my wife is going to sing at the funeral tomorrow, and I'm not sure that's going to happen because they're childhood friends. So when you think about this, think about your childhood friends that we can't grow old together. Those are issues that we have to continue to deal with. And one of the reasons I bring up my friend who did not want to be vaccinated is because now we're at a point in a plateau across the nation, across the state, where we're seeing a slowdown. People are more hesitant now than ever. And that's why we wanted to introduce to everyone, we have a minority community vaccination action group. And that's the group where we know that there are barriers, and we came together as a team, and many of the team members will talk today. We came together to decide what are some of those barriers that we can remove to get more individuals, specifically in the minority community, active and engaged, taking their vaccinations. Well, the one we've heard it all the time is, I can't schedule a visit. How do I get my vaccination? So we've come up with a one-stop. You give a call. When you get that call, they'll schedule you an appointment. They'll tell you the location, and then the next question is going to be a big piece. How will I get there? How can I get there? We'll provide rides for them. And we have a great team today that we've had philanthropic organizations come and help and volunteer. And I think it's going to be a key to moving forward, because this journey is going to be long, but we want to make sure that we're actively engaged, and that's why I thank the governor for coming today, and we wanted to introduce this to our community. We'll have flyers out. You'll see door hangers. We will come out into the community because now we're not going to wait for them to come to us. We've got to go out to the community. So I'll stop and let the governor say a few words, and then our team will come in and tell you a little bit more about our Mahoney Community Vaccination Action Group. Thank you guys for coming today. Governor?
Thanks, Mayor. Well, Mayor, thank you very much. Shortly after I was elected, I came to visit the mayor, and he took me out for lunch. Pretty good food, too. But neither one of us had a clue that we were going to be such partners throughout this pandemic. The mayor and I talk at least once a week. I talk with all the 7 or 8 major cities, mayors in the state, and I learn from them. What you're seeing today is really a great effort, and the mayor's told me about this really new effort, providing rides and doing all different things, and Mayor, that's just great. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic, and the health department you guys are doing phenomenal, and it's just really important. I want to share some statistics. I just looked these up coming, and our records show, now these are always a day or two behind, but Mahoney County, 38.3% first shots and moving forward. Now that's not of adults, that's of everybody. So those are good numbers. If you look at the state of Ohio, the state average is behind that a little bit. Not much, but a little bit behind. So you all are ahead of the state average, which is good. State average 38.05%. Statewide today, we've had about 4.5. We'll cross 4.5 million Ohioans that have had their first shot. When the numbers come out today, 11 or 12 o'clock, it'll be 4.5 million. At 3.2%, 3.2 million have received their final shot, so they're fully vaccinated. So those are good numbers. Some other good news is for the last few days, finally, the cases are starting downward. So that's a piece of very good news. But this is really a critical point in time. It's critical because we do have a variant out there that is multiplying. It is about 40% more contagious, or as Dr. Vanderhoff says, it sticks more. And so that's the danger that we have out there. So we are in this race, literally in a race. Can we get people vaccinated fast enough, or is this variant going to take over? It is also kind of a strange time, because while we've got good news that I shared with you this morning, good news how many people have been vaccinated, good news, a lot of very good things happening. But for those who have not been vaccinated, this is probably the most dangerous period of time because of this very active variant that is out there. So what we don't want is people to see the headlines and to say, you know, all these people are vaccinated, now they can't get the virus, and we're moving in the right direction. Cases are starting to go down a little bit. But if you're not vaccinated, you are very vulnerable, particularly with this new variant. So you can be lulled, people can be lulled into a false sense of security based on the macro, what we're seeing out there, but the micro, if you're not vaccinated. Fran and I have been, I don't know how many, I've lost track, we're 36 or so different locations around the state. And we do that because we learn. We learn from what communities like the Mahoning Valley is doing, like Youngstown is doing. We take those ideas and try to share them with other communities. But we also do it because it gives us the opportunity to listen, not only to the local health leaders, mayors, but also to the people who are getting the shots. And you know, Mayor, it's interesting. Mayor and I and Fran, Health Commissioner, we were out walking around and just talking to people getting vaccinated today. And everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason. My mother, my grandmother. I've only seen my grandmother, somebody told us, once in the last year. She's getting older. I don't know how much time she's got left. I want to be able to go see her. I want to go see, for Fran and for me, it's going to see our grandkids. Last night we saw 6 of our grandkids last night. So, and that's great. And we can not only see them from a distance, but now we can actually hug them. We had 2 grandchildren born in November, 8 days apart. We saw both of them last night. And you know, could hold them, and so it's this vaccine is how we get our freedom back. This vaccine is how we get our world back. But to get there, we've got to have everybody take that opportunity. We're not going to force anybody to get the vaccine, but what the health department's doing, what this community is doing. Look, this community comes together. When there's a crisis, Youngstown comes together. When there's a crisis, Mahoning Valley comes together. It's the way people are. And the communities really come together, and I'm anxious, Mayor, to hear a little bit more about what you guys are doing with the new program. But pulling together, we are truly in this together, because when you get your vaccine, you're getting it for yourself, you're getting it from your family, you're getting it so you can see your grandchildren or your grandmother or whatever. but you're also making a major contribution to slowing this virus down. Because when you're vaccinated, you're not going to get that virus, and you're not going to pass it on to anybody else. And so the more people we can pull out of the people who can get it, as I said, we're pushing 40% now, and every day we pull more and more people out, and so they can't get it and they can't spread it. And that's how we get this vaccine, that's how we get this virus down. So Mayor, I'm anxious to hear more. Congratulations to everybody, and Fran and I are just really happy to be here with all of you. Thanks, Mayor.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today, and so happy the governor and Fran and all of you are able to be here today. As I look around the room, I see all of the people that really have been, I think the governor had it right on the money when he said, you know, the city of Youngstown, you really come together, the Mahoning Valley, you come together as a community. And I was thinking back about a little over a year ago, we sat in this very room, Dr. Covelli and the mayor and the Covelli Center staff, like, what are we going to do? And we were thinking of this was going to be our main hub, and we were going to keep medicines here. We had all these plans, and we were going to use, we were going to take down the ice, and we were going to put, cots on there. I mean, we had it all. Like, we had the plans ready, because in public health, that's what we do. We plan for something like this. But we could have never planned for this pandemic, you know what I mean? Like, truly being in it, and to have the support that I've had through, our board, through our director of nursing. I think of Anthea. So today there was a little mix-up with the National Guard, and so I was like, Anthea, you got to be there, So she was there putting shots in arms while we're waiting for the National Guard to get here. So that's just how it's been since the very beginning. And texting Jordan Ryan from Covelli Center and saying, hey, the governor's going to be here in 2 days, get going. And he was like, all right, I'm on it. He's texting me at like 10 o'clock last night. What about this? So that's how we do it here in Mahoning County and in the city of Youngstown. And we're always here. We show up. I text my friends Nikki and Dawn from the city, like, you coming tomorrow? Of course, they'll be here. They'll always be here for you. And so what we want to do now is be here for you. We've been so lucky to have vaccinated over 23,000 people just here in the city of Youngstown, the Youngstown City Health Department, with our 2 nurses and a fantastic staff of like less than 20 people. But we've done an awesome job. There was times we were 6 days a week doing the vaccinations, and we weren't just sitting at our health department. We were all through the community. We have 4 sides of town and a downtown, and we were on all 4 sides of those towns. What we've been able to do now is really get into zip code data. And so we've been very lucky through the Johns Hopkins University and the Bloomberg Association to get us on data and what we can do with it. And what comes with it? We didn't have to pay anything for it. So that's always a plus. But I was working with people from London, Brazil, just all over the world working on our data here in the city of Youngstown. And now we have zip codes, and I could pull it up. I pulled it up yesterday. And where we need to. 44504, I don't know what you're doing, but you are the highest vaccinated county or zip code in our city. All right. Yep, so that's it. And I got to come for 44511 where I live. We're doing a little bad, so I got to get you here. But it's really cool when we get to sit down and look at our data and say, this is where we need to be. And yesterday we had some doses. We went to our county jail and we did inmates, and there was about 65 men and women that were vaccinated with us. And we thought we were going to be there for 2 hours. We were there for 5.5, no water, no food. I'm like, oh, I need to get out of here. But we were there, that's what you do. You got to go to where the people are. Then we have a group that are here, our Mahoning County Vaccination Action Group, that we came together. Now these are people that live in the city, that live in our community, and said, what can we do more? How can we help you? And you're going to learn more about this, but we're here to answer your calls. I brought up Anna Ruiz. She is our intern, started out as an intern. Now she is bilingual. She'll be working with us so that people can come and speak their language. When I'm sitting with her at the table and she starts speaking to people in Spanish, the looks on their faces, the comfort that they feel safe here, they know they can get their shot, and they're going to hear what I say. She walks them over to the nurse. They sit down together, and to see it is just it's moving. So thank you, Anna, and it's just exciting. Like I said, came from a Youngstown State University, a public health student. So, yeah. And that's too what I wanted to say. President Tressel is here, and like for me, he's always just been like Jim Tressel, you know, Coach Tressel. And so now I feel like he's my friend. He texts me. I'm like, look at who texts me, Jim Tressel. You know? So, but he really has, like, from the very beginning. What can we do for you, Aaron? You know, we're right up the street, and you know, we've done over 2,300 students at YSU, Moderna. We're going back there the next 2 weeks to finish up their second shots. We wouldn't have done that hadn't we had our collaboration. You know, they may have had some pharmacy come in. Not that that's bad, but like to say like, hey, I want to work with our health department, our local health department. And what he's done for his students, you know, as a mom, I'm a 2-time graduate of Youngstown State University. As a mom with my 2 sons coming up, I want them to go where they are going to be safe, where people care about them. And, you know, that's Youngstown State University. So we are so blessed to have a university like that in the partnership. And then moving on, you know, with the county health department, I'm going to be quiet in a minute here. Ryan Tekak, the health commissioner, is going to come up and talk all the wonderful things they've done in the county. Our relationship is wonderful. We've been friends since we were literally in grade school, St. Christine, up to Ursuline, and then at YSU. So we go back a long time. And then so he'll tell you all about his process. And then Dr. James Kravick, who another dear friend since kindergarten with Mercy Health. I went to Ursuline, he went to Mooney, so, you know, that was our big breakup. But we're still dear, dear friends. And you're just lucky to have this community, and the mayor who has been, you know, just there from day one with me. Yeah, we're just lucky here in the city. So I also want to thank Mercy Health Foundation, who is also a part of our collaboration. We are going to be working with Mercy Health to go to the churches. We've been going to churches since the very beginning, but the larger churches, because yesterday, you know, 400 people went through New Bethel Baptist Church getting their second doses. Wow. So we've had some larger churches that could do 400, 500 people. Well, there are smaller churches here that want to do their part. So we're working with Mercy Health as well as their foundation to help fund some of this. And they're going to come with the health department. We're going to go to the smaller churches where we can do their vaccinations with their van. And then they can go sit in their sanctuary or, you know, their hall where it's not as big as the ones that we were. So again, we've been so lucky here to have the churches that really stepped up, the community centers. We'll have on our website the different churches we'll be at. Again, yesterday we had 13 new people that came to New Bethel while we were doing our second dose, and now we're celebrating that. We used to celebrate like, how are we going to do 500 people? We're going to do that. Now we're like celebrating 13 people because that was 13 people that hadn't been vaccinated. So we're just going to continue on this journey with all of you. And again, thank you for all of you that have stood by us, the city of Youngstown, and we will continue to keep us safe and keep getting us through there so that we can, again, my favorite thing to do is travel. I've been able to travel safer, you know, and get to enjoy the things that I missed during this last year and a half. So I'm going to turn it over now to my friend and colleague, Mr. Ryan Tekak from Mahoning County Public Health. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ryan Tekak. I'm with Mahoning County Public Health. And as Aaron has said, when you look in this room, you hear about a lot of friendships, relationships that we have. And that's why we've been so successful here in Mahoning County, is because of these friendships and the relationships that we have. Governor DeWine mentioned that we're sitting here at 38% of our population that has at least received one vaccination. And that's because of the city health department, the county health department, Mercy Health, and that's why we're so successful. So I'd like to thank Governor DeWine and his team at ODH for their support. They've truly provided a pathway of health for Ohioans during this tough year. And we also hear about all these stories of why people get vaccinated. Mayor Brown, he just talked about he wants to see his grandkids. We hear those same stories at our clinics. A year ago, as we sat in this room, we were hearing all the stories of sadness. Everyone that comes to these clinics is now happy, joyful. You come into any of these clinics and you come in and you're done within a half hour. And we're appreciative that we can provide those services now. Since the start, Mahoning County Public Health has also vaccinated over 20,000 individuals either at our Austintown Senior Center or now at our Dillard site where our regional mass vaccination clinic is. We have opened 1,000 appointments for this Friday. We currently only have 307 of those filled. So we're encouraging individuals to sign up to get vaccinated. It's the Moderna vaccine, and we're also offering walk-in appointments. We're going to open up 75 appointments for walk-in and equity purposes. Also, when we speak about health equity, we talk about the access of care, and usually low-income and minority populations lack accessible, safe transportation. And when we got together as a group for this coalition, one of those barriers that we wanted to tear down was the transportation barriers. And here at Mahoning County Public Health, we've always had transportation access for our WIC program and actually for our Pathways Hub program. And what our Pathways Hub program does is it helps at-risk mothers achieve healthy birth outcomes. And that's what the transportation access is for. So as we were discussing this, we knew that WRTA was offering free transportation, but we wanted that individual to have what we're calling almost like a VIP experience where they get picked up at their house and they're taken to the clinic in a safe, reliable transportation during their times. So what I would like to do now is actually introduce Miss Andrea Mahone. She has been in charge of our transportation and our one-stop shop for receiving a vaccination, setting up the appointment, and setting up the appointment for transportation. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce Miss Andrea Mahone.
Thank you. Kudos to everybody. I don't know how we wind up doing transportation. I prayed and I said, Lord, I just want to get married so I don't have to do I don't have to drive anymore. I got married and now I drive 20 times more than I ever have before. But I just want to give a special just thank you to everybody who has given us the opportunity to be able to serve the community. I'm working very closely with Molly Seals, and she's on vacation, but she sent what she wanted me to write and talk today. So I'm going to do that. Definitely just want to give a big shout out to Mayor Tito Brown, as well as Molly Seals and Pastor Macklin, who actually was the three that came together to start the MAC program up, the MCVAG program. And so our goal is to increase the vaccinations for blacks and Hispanics. We do this by removing 3 key barriers: access to information to help them decide, simplify, and quick appointment registration, and most of all, free transportation and to and from vaccination sites that are needed. We partnership with community organizations across Mahoning County, and to reach, survey, and serve people, we want to make it as easy as possible for minorities and underserved to get a vaccination. We are blessed to have organizations like our churches, our links, our junior civics, and so many others, but definitely to our health departments. I am not a health person, but to Aaron and Ryan, you have made it so easy. I don't normally talk people into getting their vaccinations. I let them know that we are here to provide transportation to you if you want to get it, which means we're offering hope and we're getting rid of fear in our communities. So it has been a blessing. My team is here. We've added on Tamika Wright with Right Care Solutions. So now even when our elderly seniors get into the car, she's the driver for them. She's able to offer a lot more comfort and questions concerning the virus. And Mark, who is a YSU student, and so we want to make sure that we're able to reach out. So the big number to call is 330-270-3461, and that comes from the city. So Mayor, thank you for all the support. We're here to stand behind you to make sure that we're able to help you as much. We also are able to offer the transportation, and so you can call these numbers as well, 330, they're calling already, 207-3461 or 330, and you can even text these numbers, 716-2843 or 330-716-2684. So we have flyers you can take with you. We are here to help the churches. With New Bethel, they called and said that they needed transportation, so we were there to provide as much transportation as possible. So we thank Reverend Macklin, Molly Seals, and Mayor Tito Brown for taking the time out to include free transportation. We will get you there. We want to help you. We will drive you safe. We have lots of Lysol, lots of masks. We'll get you there. Even if you want us to hold your hand while you're getting your shot and provide a lollipop, whatever it takes, we are here. And to the governor, I just want to say thank you. It is a pleasure to live and serve in your state, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Just real quick, I want to make sure I acknowledge all of our partners. Bonnie Burtman, come on, Lewis Macklin. They are all part of the coalition, but this could not have happened without our philanthropic organizations. We had Mercy Foundation, Wing Foundation. Did I miss anybody else?
Community Foundation.
Community
Western Reserve
Foundations.
Health Foundation.
Yeah, so, and who else?
Western Reserve Health.
Western Reserve Health Foundation. So this is truly a public and private partnership, and I think that's what we're going to have to continue going forward with making just things what we're doing right here a success. So I'll open it up. Anybody else? I think I covered everyone else to say anything. I'll open it up for questions. Governor, if you want to take a few questions.
Sure. Governor, are you concerned at all with the decline in the number of vaccines that are being given out over the last couple of weeks?
Yes. You know, the way we get out of this is vaccinating our way out. It's the only way we're going to get out of it. This virus is going to continue to circulate in our community until we remove enough people who can't get it anymore and can't spread it. So, you know, I'm the eternal optimist. Fran says anybody with 8 kids by definition is an optimist. So Fran and I are optimistic. When I come here and see, you know, the great efforts that are being made to make sure that there is no one left behind in Mahoning Valley, that everyone has the opportunity to get the vaccine, this is very, very inspiring, and it's just a wonderful thing. And you know, Ohioans are stepping up. They're doing this. You go into any vaccination site and you're going to see volunteers. You're going to see people who don't have to be there. Fran and I went to one close to our home and we ran into her, the doctor that delivered several of our babies. And he was, you know, he was retired and he was volunteering. So you see communities come together. But yes, I'm concerned because the numbers have gone down. And, you know, did they go down because of the Johnson & Johnson? I think in partly they did. I think the uncertainty there has spread over, you know, into the other vaccines. But what we saw today is when we talked to people have a reason for getting it. And it is your ticket. And as the mayor said, there are still tragedies occurring out there. He talked about his friend. You know, we are still losing people in Ohio every single day, and we don't have to lose them. I shared this at one press conference before, but my dad was in World War II, and one of the stories he told me that just stayed with him, they knew that the war was almost over. They were driving. They were in Germany. His company was in Germany, and they knew the war was almost over. And then a plane goes over, a German plane goes over, and strafes and kills one of the members of his company. 10 days later, the war ended. I mean, deaths are always horrible, but look, we're almost out of this. You know, take the opportunity to get vaccinated. If anybody had trouble getting vaccinated before, you're not going to have trouble finding vaccinations now. Communities are doing a phenomenal job. In the Mahoning Valley, all the communities in Mahoning Valley are doing a great job, health departments, everybody making these shots available. So we got to do it.
Governor, I have a question for both you and the mayor, actually.
Sure.
So we're wondering if you think that enough has been done to reach out to the minority community and express the need for the shot. There was supposed to be outreach by the state. Are you all satisfied with it?
Well, I'm never satisfied. That's kind of my nature, so I'm not satisfied with anything. You know, we can always do better, but the numbers are getting better. You know, I look at them every day. I look at how we are doing, and I'm seeing, you know, major efforts in community after community. We are making efforts in the state. Ursula McElroy, who's from the Mahoning Valley, who heads up our Department of Aging, has played a major role in our outreach and putting programs together to reach minority populations. So I'm not satisfied, but a lot of good things are being done, and we just have to continue to work on them.
Yeah. Cindy,
Mayor, yours.
I think if you look at what we're doing right here, this is that's a great question. But here's another solution to the problems that we're having out there. I think you talk about when individuals have that hesitation, they don't want to go for the shot. But then when they get the shot, or they say I want to schedule a shot, then they don't have a ride. So those are just barriers that we're removing for. And we have so much more work to do. This is just another piece that we're adding to this, and another opportunity for individuals who want to get vaccinated will have an opportunity to do so. Thank you. Jared?
If I can, to whomever, even Dr. Kravick or Aaron or Ryan.
The experts.
That's not medical.
Something nationally, we've plateaued 200+ million that have gotten at least the first shot. That, how do you reach those people in that other third of the country that, for whatever reason, whether it's hesitancy or they just don't want it, how do they get, as the governor mentioned, their ticket? Yeah. Doctor drew the short straw. How do you reach those people to get them to get the shot?
You know, Jerry, I think it's a great question. So, you know, we've given a lot of vaccines. I've seen in both with Aaron's clinics with Youngstown, Ryan's with Mahoning County, the clinics at Mercy. You know, in the beginning, as Governor said, it was harder to get in. You had to really fight your way to get through the phone lines and the online systems, but now it's available. So now comes the next step of, you know, what's in it for me to get vaccinated. I think that's the case we need to make, and that's to everyone who hasn't received their vaccine. Some people are concerned, maybe they don't understand maybe the science of how it's made. What might be a long-term, you know, are there any long-term impacts of the vaccine? And I think as we understand more of the science, we continue to have those conversations. But I think the other thing is, you know, that this is our ticket to then also get back to some semblance of normalcy. I've been lucky enough, as Aaron said, I've been able to travel a little bit. My level of comfort was much higher having been able to travel. I'm going to an event next week in Cleveland that actually, you know, requires me to show that I've been vaccinated. That's the first time I've been asked to show that, but it actually is something that's real, a very public event that I think will continue to happen as we go forward. So the last piece is this is how we get back to some semblance of our lives, because you know, as there are more and more variants and more spread, the total pool of people, for the most part, who can be infected will shrink every day, because more and more people are getting vaccinated. So we really have two buckets of people, those that have been vaccinated and those that could get infected, essentially, realizing that they're not mutually exclusive, but there might be a couple in both. But every time the bucket goes higher of the vaccinated pool, that pool of people that can spread goes down. And so that's how we get back to some semblance of normalcy. So I think we can get that information out there the best we can. We'll see the numbers go up. But the last few are going to be harder as we go forward.
I have a question on the efficacy, the length of time. From what I heard 6 months, now been a year. How long could we kind of expect the vaccine to last before we have to use it?
Well, the CDC, when it first came out, said 3 months actually was the first. Then I'm reading 6 months. So that it continues to evolve. The studies continue to have more data that come out. And really the reality is the studies are new. These studies happened in September, October of last year. So as we continue to go forward in time, March, April, May, these studies will have more time. So we'll get more information. So that will continue to prolong probably. The next question will come out is, you know, will we need a booster shot, or will we need you know, some sort of third shot, for example? And the answer is we don't know yet. We heard from the Pfizer CEO that said most likely the answer is yes. But what we do know is about viruses do mutate. That's what they do. These variants aren't shocking that they mutate, and when they mutate, at some point, we probably will need a booster because that's how viruses work. That's how vaccines work. To be able to impact the current virus that's out in the community, sometimes we have to have boosters. Again, that said, what I'm telling you is not definitive. We don't know yet. That's not been said by anyone, by FDA or CDC yet, but that's what time will tell. This will change. Again, as Aaron and Mayor Brown said, we were here a year ago with so much uncertainty. So the uncertainty continues, length of time, boosters, et cetera, but more to come.
I only ask because I'm about 3 months in now,
My question's for the public health officials. Locally, do you know what's behind that, the slowdown in vaccinations locally? Is it concerns over Johnson & Johnson? Is it reaching capacity? Is it a question of access? Just what's driving that slowdown in the valley?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I look at it, I even think with Johnson & Johnson. So Covelli was set up to be a Johnson & Johnson. Every Thursday, that's what we were doing. And so the day it happened, we were at YSU ready to do, 300 students. And we're like texting President Trestle, like, this just came through and we had to shut it down right that moment. Thank God, right before we started to vaccinate. And so when I came now and we called everybody, like we told people on the news, but we personally called everybody and said, hey, we're not going to have Johnson & Johnson right now. We still have the event at Covelli. We'd like you to, or can we set you up for another appointment? I'll say majority of them did, except the Moderna. There were, a number of people that said, no, I'm going to wait for Johnson & Johnson. So it just was it just depends on people. And again, most people that we're seeing now coming through, these are people that were waiting it out. I mean, it's still, if you think about it, only 4 months ago, we were just starting this journey. So I think people are still waiting. Let's wait 6 months, okay. And that's just how we are as people. So the access isn't the problem. We have it everywhere. We're going to the people. We're telling people it's on the news. I can't thank our local news enough, outlets that are constantly calling and doing. I think they've done a tremendous job here in the Valley getting information out to people. It's just now, how do we get people to you? And that's our challenge, and that's why we're doing all this extra stuff, because we want to finally reach people that we haven't been able to reach. I mean, there was a time Reverend Macklin, God love him, was texting me every morning, noon, and night. Oh, I got this one person, and it was like, oh, as soon as they have that excitement to get it, we have to give it to them. We can't turn people away because they may back out tomorrow. So he's like, Aaron, this person needs it tomorrow. Like, if you say no, they're not going to get it. So we were always just making sure. Where now, these are the people that, it's been a long haul. It's been a year of, misinformation, and so we just have to work together and to encourage people. It's always encouraging when you see people that are getting the shot and giving their why. So I think you'll start seeing more of those ads coming out as our group figures, like, we want to see what's your why, why did you get it? So
one of the other things, the other component to what we're doing in our group, in our action group, is that we want to start putting out infomercials or PSAs with people you trust. I think if we all looked around this room, and if you would just do a 30-second video and say why you took the shot, someone may say, oh, that's Mr. Covelli. Oh, he did it. That's why I'm doing it. Or that's Mr. Staples. That's why I'm going to do it. So I think all of us in this room can actually impact that more and more. It's one thing when I say I'm getting my shot, but when I do it publicly, people look at it like, okay, I'll take it. It might not even be because I'm the mayor. It might be because we're high school friends or it's my neighbor. So you look at your network, you look at the people you come in contact with, and your influence that you may have on them. One or two will make a difference in our community. So that's another component that we want to add to that. Cindy, you had another question? I think that'll be it for us.
Governor, I have a question for you that, if you don't mind. We have been doing some reporting on like a drop in demand for vaccines. So I was wondering, do you think we're moving further away from reducing protective measures? And then also, do you see yourself dropping the mask mandate anytime soon?
Well, this mask is really our defense. And, Aaron was talking about a year ago what everybody knew. And we didn't know how powerful these masks were a year ago. We know that they're very powerful today. And if you don't believe it, look at your schools, K through 12. kids have worn masks. They've sat in classrooms. They've many times been closer than 6 feet. But when everyone was wearing a mask and one kid brought the COVID from home, other kids didn't get it. We didn't know that. We didn't know that before. We know it now. We know the power of these masks. Now look, no one would like to get rid of the mask any more than I would, so we're all tired of wearing them. But we got to look at the facts. The essential facts are we've got a variant out there that's still very dangerous, and if you've not been vaccinated, it's very dangerous to you. So all of us continuing to wear the mask for a little while longer is going to allow us to play defense, but now we've got a real tool in the vaccine to play offense.
There you go.
And yes, the vaccines, number of people getting vaccinated every day has gone down. We're still getting tens of thousands of people every day getting shots in Ohio. And, you know, it's natural. Who's going to get it first? The most anxious to get it are going to get it first. And so it's natural. This is a natural cycle that we are in. And you know, I get anxious about it, I worry about it, but the truth is, it's a kind of a natural cycle. We're up to almost 40% of the population that's been vaccinated. We've got kids 15 and under who aren't even eligible yet to get it vaccinated. So we're doing pretty well. We just, you know, we're on to the ground game now. We're just going to grind this out. But it's what it's done in every community to do that and to pull people in. And it was said very, very well. When we got someone who wants it, they need to get it. They need to have the access to get it and be able to get it, because they may change their mind tomorrow. You know, they're in the mood to get it, make sure they can walk it. That's why we're encouraging more walk-ins, more opportunities for walk-ins. Look, everybody does something different. I go to McDonald's and, you know, I don't go through the drive-thru. I go in. Some people always go through the drive-thru. Some people do things differently. It's human nature. Some people don't want to make reservations. They don't want to make appointments. They want to walk in when they want to walk in. So we've got to meet them where they are. And we've got to be there and say, okay, we're going to remove the barriers. And whatever barriers we can, we're going to remove them. We're going to make it easy for you. And we're going to try to get you the information so that you can make the decision. But as the mayor said, you know, who are the most influential people? Your family. I can't tell you how many people we have seen, Fran and I have talked to, said, I'm going to have my wife come. I'm going to have my husband come. I'm the first in my family. I'm the last in my family. We've heard it all. But they all go back to their family and their friends, and, you know, that's very important. As far as their professional advice, nobody is more powerful than your own personal doctor. And what our advice to people is, go talk to your doctor. You got hesitancy about it, go talk to your doctor. That's what you need to do.
We have time for one more question.
All right.
Anybody else?
Well, if somebody can, maybe Andrew or somebody, explain how this ride to the vaccination site will be free. I'm guessing it's pretty much philanthropy and donation, just to kind of reinforce for those that need that.
Thanks for asking, Jerry. Appreciate that. Just want to say, actually, Mercy Health has been a huge contribution to make sure that the funding is there, but they've also worked with the city and also with Ryan, with Mahoney County Department of Health. I was already previously working with them, and so it's not free. It's free to the community, but the funding is definitely coming from the other leaders within the community. So we just want to just definitely thank them. And just to even add to that, we will pick you up at Dairy Queen, McDonald's, at the corner store, at the playground. Me and my team hit the neighborhood passing out flyers, inviting everyone to come. So we will pick you up, Jerry. We can come to your house and pick you up and get you to get your shot. And so we just thank everybody for that. You want to add? And Aaron too. The Youngstown Department of Health also received some funding from, I think, from Mahoney County Department of Health.
Yeah,
The
I was
health
gonna
departments,
say,
yes,
it
please.
was through
Yes.
a grant through the Ohio Department of Health for health equity and what ways that we can do. So Ryan, thanks to him, you know, the zip codes, they were focusing on targeted zip codes. Well, majority of the zip codes relied in the city of Youngstown. So instead of Ryan saying, hey, we'll give you some money, no, Aaron, you take it all And so it's able to do these efforts. So again, thanks to our governor and that collaboration.
Absolutely.
You had a question?
Yeah, so if the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is approved again, if, like Aaron said, people are waiting for it, or it can be even beneficial to do more vaccines because it's a one shot. But how do you get over like that hesitation if, since there was a pause on it and there wasn't a pause on other vaccines, for those people that might be hesitant to take it if it's approved again?
Yeah, look, I think that we have to see what the government says. Everybody's waiting for Friday. We hope they give some definitive instructions. We've seen what's happened in other countries where they've come back and had some more notifications. So, look, I think for some people that will impact them. They will decide not to get Johnson & Johnson, but I think other people will listen to what they hear, understand that it's looks like it's 1 in a million, and like the Johnson & Johnson. When this started, we didn't know whether, way back when Johnson & Johnson was just coming out, we had no idea if people would want it or not want it. And what we found is it's like a lot of other things in life. Some people want it, some people didn't. There was a real market out there for a one shot and be done. It's also from the health department point of view, if we're dealing with someone who's homeless, if we're dealing with someone in jail, if we're dealing with students who are going to go be out in 10 days, those are all logical one shots. It just makes a lot more sense. So from a public health point of view, the Johnson & Johnson there's a role for Johnson & Johnson for something that is a one shot. But as far as what people accept, I think everybody will be different. Some will say, fine, let's move on, let's get Johnson & Johnson. Some will say, I'll go do something else. So that's the glory. We have 3 vaccines. We're delivering it. People can choose. They can make up their own mind. They can read, make up their own decision what they want to do.
All right.
Okay, thanks everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Governor.
Good.
As always.
Good.
Appreciate it.